Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with another edition of your weather hazard briefing, this one for Tuesday, November 30th. So a little bit of a broken record here, and it's going to be like that throughout the week. We're in a persistent pattern where southeast Idaho is right on the northern edge of a big ridge of high pressure covering a decent chunk of the western United States. That high pressure is expected to be in place all week long and possibly into next weekend. So what that means for our area, generally low impact weather across southeast Idaho. We're holding that active storm track just barely north of our forecast area. And what that's going to mean is some high clouds are going to be spilling over the ridge and drifting down across our region at times. Those will be noticeable on and off throughout the week, but no precipitation expected for our forecast area based on our positioning here under the ridge. Also above normal temperatures continuing here over the course of the week. Now, the fly in the ointment is this morning. We do have some pretty isolated, patchy, but dense fog occurring out toward the Shoshone Lava Beds. Right up the Snake Plain corridor, just west of Idaho Falls, also up into Fremont County and the normal trouble spots along US 20. We'll talk about this in just a moment. A little bit breezy at times at the highest elevations up at those peaks and ridge lines, but overall, no significant wind this week for most of you. Pretty quiet on the weather risk outlook here as we break it down by day and geographic area. Again, the main concern is really that patchy dense fog this morning in portions of the Snake Plain, eastern Magic Valley, Shoshone area, up toward Idaho Falls, and up toward Ashton as well. Osborne Bridge area up in Fremont County where we normally see some issues. Generally, the high-res models are keeping some of this activity going through about 10 a.m. this morning before we burn it off. We're also seeing some low clouds out there, kind of in the same corridor. A little bit of an aviation concern for some of our airports, but generally all of this is going to wrap up again within an hour or so of 10 a.m. Based on our high-res guidance here. And no concerns as we head into your Wednesday, your Thursday, your Friday, even your Saturday, as far as other impactful weather across the region. No watches, warnings, advisories in effect. Even with some of that fog out there, we're just not seeing really widespread coverage of super dense fog, so we don't have an advisory or anything out for that. Air stagnation advisory is still in effect here as you head westward into the Treasure Valley and the Boise area. Also some wind concerns up here to the east of Bozeman for those who may be traveling. Satellite is still kind of a cool view here, at least for us meteorologists. You can see lots of clear skies, not much going on across most of the region, but this high cloud cover just spilling over the top of that ridge, kind of highlighting that active storm track mostly north of our area. But you can see some of that cloud cover infiltrating just a little bit here into our southeast Idaho forecast area. If you look really closely where my pointer is here, you can actually see that zone where we're seeing low stratus clouds just a few hundred feet off the surface. A little bit of an aviation impact there. And this general corridor here too, wrapping right up into Idaho Falls, is where we're seeing some patchy dense fog at the surface as well. Now, this next graphic I'm going to show, a lot of times we're kind of searching for the best way to really show this visually. And one of our forecasters put this out on social media yesterday evening in advance, kind of anticipating the fog issues. And it's doing a pretty good job at lighting up the corridor of concern. Now, we're not seeing fog as widespread is what's depicted in this image. We weren't expecting that. But these are generally the areas we're watching. I think this is going to hold north of Pocatello. We're not seeing issues right now into the Pocatello area. That should hold. Generally north of Burley, so your I-84, I-86 corridor is looking pretty good. But we are seeing some issues this morning out toward Kinsey Butte, just north of Shoshone. And then as you head up toward US 26, Tilden Flats, for example, very low visibility right now, about 500 feet in that area as of this recording. Seeing some issues right near and just west of the Idaho Falls Airport. Idaho Falls, you were down to a quarter mile on your visibility here for a little bit this morning, and looking over at another computer screen here, we're back up to about 3 miles at the airport with some low clouds in there as well. Just to the north of Idaho Falls along I-15, maybe Osgood area, we saw reduced visibility for a while this morning. So in this pink and purple zone here, just watch out for some isolated patchy fog, but sudden drops in visibility for motorists who do encounter these trouble spots. So slow down, use the low beam headlights if you're encountering fog, watch the lines on the road, watch any reflectors that are available. Just really use some caution while driving. And if you are out there traveling any of these highways, you should get through that fog pretty quickly, as again, it is not widespread this morning. Generally through about 10 a.m., and then we'll see everything improving. Now, confidence as we go into tonight, not quite as high as far as what type of fog development we'll see and exactly what areas we'll see that, but we'll be watching that in the guidance here throughout the day. Low temperatures this morning, of course, cold, as we've seen the past few mornings, generally below freezing. Lots of 20s here on the map, 15 up in Stanley, one of the normally colder spots, about 30 down here in Pocatello, and maybe just a touch colder here as you get out away from the immediate city area. Headed toward high temperatures today, getting up into the upper 30s to about 50 or so. Of course, warmest here in the eastern Magic Valley, some of the adjacent valleys and Raft River region. Few degrees cooler, you'll notice here, than what we saw the last day or two, and that's because we have seen a weak system that has brushed across the area last night. Just a little bit of modification to that air mass. Now, over here on the right is your high temperatures for Wednesday, and we start to regain a few degrees, with highs generally into the mid-40s to as high as mid-50s, 55 projected for Burley, 52 for Stanley, 56 up in Salmon. So above normal temperatures continuing, really pleasant conditions out there, again with no precipitation and a decent amount of sunshine. High temperatures, there should be Thursday here on the left and Friday on the right. I apologize for that title. Seeing temperatures holding fairly steady, again, mid-40s to mid-50s, depending on your location, so continued above average, very pleasant out there. Again, really not seeing any widespread weather impacts here as we head through the rest of the week. Now, stepping out just a little bit further as we look into next weekend and even the following week, this is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Still favoring above normal temperatures in the various climate signals that we watch here, so no big change there. But 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook trending wetter. You can see the odds favor above normal chances for precipitation. Does look like this pattern's going to start to modify or break down a little bit next week. And right now, first chance of really seeing some precipitation getting in here looks like to be about Monday or Tuesday. And that is subject to change. It is a ways out. But that's really the period we're looking at to kind of break up the monotony of the pattern that we're in here across the region. That's your briefing for today. As always, questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to reach out to us here at the office, and everyone have a great Tuesday.